It's not really. Oh, you know, had a bit of a chilled week until the news got brought to us that load shedding was going to be the end of the Predator SummerSlam this weekend. So it's a bit of a rough situation considering that that's going to have to be postponed for a little bit. So yeah, by the time you're seeing this, you're supposed to be. This is supposed to be released on Saturday, which is supposed to be the same day as the Predator SummerSlam, but unfortunately, ESCOM has different stories. And we take a bit of a different path just because ESCOM feels like it. So it's a bit of a rip, but you got to take it on the chin, take it as it happens. But we've already seen two players released in the top 10, in my opinion. Again, reinforcing the fact that it's my opinion. And I just want to let people know that stats don't mean everything. Like, yes, they contribute a very, very large amount. But I think that if you speak to anyone who plays the game, who's played the game for a long time, who plays the game at a high level, who watches the game, who has a fair grasp of the game, everyone knows that a player's impact is not necessarily measured by their stats. It's not necessarily measured by a 2.0 rating or by the amount of kills they put on the board. I think that the player coming in at number 8 still has good stats, don't get me wrong. They still got good stats, but I'm just reinforcing the fact that the impact they have in the server, the impact that they have for the team, and the role they play in the team plays a lot more into the team's hands than it does his KD at the end of the day, or his ability to drop 30 frags at the end of a server. Like, it's hard when you're running into a site first. It's hard when you're running into a site first, and you're expected to put up big numbers week in, week out. And I think that we've seen Dweezil come in at 10. Sorry, we've seen Destroyed come in at 9, and I'm actually recording this video just before I've released the Destroyed video. So I got good feedback on the Dweezil one, which was nice. It was nice to see. Didn't seem to be too many complaints of that one. Destroyed, I still haven't seen the comments about that one, so we'll see with that. But coming in at 8, he's the player that's running into sites first. He's sort of letting his teammates be the star players. He's got massive firepower around him. He's in the top team in the country, and I think that that's pretty much given it away. And I'm going to say coming in at 8th place is going to be the one and only Blaze. So yes, as I was saying, the stats don't say everything. The demo I'm going to play for you, he has a pretty good performance against Goliath in the upper brackets of EVE Sports, and I think he encapsulates that meaning of the impact he has is not necessarily measured by the scoreboard at the end of the server. I'm pretty sure the ATK players will agree with me that Blaze, even though he may not have an unreal score at the end of the game like a Slowy or a Fady, he still has massive impact. He makes the life of his teammates a lot easier, creates space for his team, and ultimately allows ATK to be the successes as they are. Like we've seen, you can't just put 5 insane players in a team and expect all of them to do well. I think Blaze is one of those players where he's found comfort in his role being the entry fragger, running into sites first, and maybe not having the best performances, putting up the best numbers, but he knows that his death being traded by his teammates allows for his team to be put in a good position to win rounds, and I think that's exactly what Blaze does. But be there as it may, he's still got stats to back up that he's still a really good player, and he's had a really good year. Consistently good throughout Telkom VS Gaming Masters. Consistently good throughout ESCA and especially in the ESA finals, and consistently good throughout EVE Sports and the upper brackets and ultimately the grand final. He had consistently good showings, and I think he deserves a spot on this list, regardless of whether people think, oh yeah, his stats don't back it up. I think his stats do back it up because the calculations that I've done and taken big tournaments into account, like Mzansi League finals and semi-finals, EVE Sports finals, or the run-up to EVE Sports, taken into account ESCA finals, he's got the stats to back up that he deserves to be on this list. He's consistently performed at a good level, and especially with the role that he's playing, I think it's tough to put up the numbers that he does, and I think that he could possibly be on another team and be the star player for that team and put up absolutely unreal numbers. But he finds himself on this ATK team where surrounded by 4 other insane players and 3 players that consistently put up unreal numbers, and he's still able to perform at the highest level. So I think I got to give props to him and the performances that he's put up. So for example, this is the upper bracket final of the Telkom VS Gaming Masters 2020, and he put up a 1.12 rating in a 2-0 victory against Goliath, and it's pretty much standard procedure for ATK. And even though he's still running into sides first. He's still able to put up consistent numbers. This is the ESA Open Season 35 finals, as well as the ESA Open Season 34 finals, which happened midway through the year. So Blaze is still one of those players which is still able to put up consistently good numbers, even though, as I said, he may be running into sides first. But, you know, it's just the way the crumble cookies around this part of town. And this is the game we're going to look at specifically, which is in the upper bracket final of the Eve Sports EGL 1. And he finished with the 23-14 scoreline. This was after ATK took the first map of Inferno, of Dust 2 rather, where he still put up a pretty good performance, and this was a pretty good series he had overall. And the reason why I'm going to play this half of the T side for you is we show what Blaze is capable of. He finished this half 17-8, and it shows that he's a player that is able to make space for a team, and when he is on it, he can really cause the other team problems. And I think that's definitely the part of some of these things is people speak about ATK and there being quite a scary side when Slowy's firing off, when Fady's firing off, when Mistum's feeling it. But I want to think of it sort of a different view on things. I think ATK get especially potent when Blaze is feeling it. When Blaze is running into side first and clicking heads, I think that's especially when things get a bit scary for the enemy team. So this is, as I said, the upper bracket final of the EGL 1, and Blaze had a 17-8 showing, which is pretty good. So the game hasn't actually gone live yet, so fast forward to that. And 17-8 half, as I said, and we'll see throughout this half of the game that Blaze is the player who's more than happy to run into sides first. He's more than happy to keep a Mac 10 in the coming rounds, maybe in a full buy round, maybe drop it over. And when he does have the AK and his teammates on the Mac 10, he can be the player that runs into the side third and really click heads. But we're going to see that it's against a Goliath side. This is a relatively new Goliath roster at the time. This was when they just acquired Dweezil as well as Elusive. This was when Massacre just dropped out of the roster, so they were playing with Adara, ADM, and Zip Zip would have been the others. ADM actually takes Blaze's head off. AD wins the round, as easy as you like, and already we're seeing him pitch up that Mac 10 into the second round. So I think Blaze, coming off the Energy roster of 2019, finals at Comic-Con, all easy as you like, and then he found himself in this ATK roster where he's really, as I said, he's found comfort in his role, you know, like he's one of the players that is more than happy to run into sides first. I mean, everyone in South Africa speaks about Mistum's flashes, so you know, maybe he'll have a good time. But I think we'll definitely see Blaze, see how his performances differ overseas, where maybe he's going to be coming up against a bit of a stronger, more solitude defense on the CT side. No disrespect to the South African teams, but I think when ATK goes overseas, we're definitely going to see how Blaze performs that part of town. So I think it is going to be interesting to see what sort of numbers he can put up. But I mean, in South Africa, he's been perfectly comfortable with performing when it matters most. Perfectly comfortable when performing when he can put up big numbers against big teams, against the best teams in the country, like Energy, like Goliath Gaming. So I think he's got what it takes. He's got the aim, and not only that, he releases absolute banging frag videos on YouTube. So I mean, I'll leave a link to Blaze's YouTube channel down below. You guys can enjoy those because you know, it's like he releases banging videos, bro. Like the scrim highlights, pug highlights, official highlights, all that good stuff. And even now, you see he's dropped an AK. He's more than happy to go onto a Mac 10, and this isn't a full buy round. And he's more than happy to run into sides first. And just, I think that's Blaze in a nutshell right there. You know, he doesn't even care about killing Elusive. He doesn't even care if his life is the one that falls. He just makes perfect space for his team for Doru to come in and get the frag. So I think Blaze is definitely one of the players where he makes the life of his teammates easier, and I think that's overlooked sometimes. People just look at scoreboards and think that that's all she wrote, if you will. Like, I think you got to look further than the scoreboard and look at the impact that the player has in the server. And I think we spoke about Energy and Energy acquiring more firepower and who's going to do the dirty work and this and that. And I think Blaze is definitely a player on the ATK side where, as I said, he may not have the best numbers, but he allows players like Fady, Slowy, and Mistum to come into their own and perform at the highest level just because of the job he does for them. So I mean, this is an example where they're 3-0 up, they're playing against an anti-eco, and Blazers, he's not going to be running in first. He's got the AK, Doe's got the Mac-10, so Doe's going to be making the space in this sort of example, and then he's just going to be playing Overwatch, sort of covering the backs of his teammates, and it's going to be pretty much as easy as you like. But I haven't, as I said, I haven't seen your guys' feedback on the Destroyed video that I'm going to post after I finish recording this one. I've seen the feedback on the Dweezil video, and it seems like it was mostly agreed upon that Dweezil's definitely in the conversation for a top 10 player, and obviously I'll agree with you because I made the list, so it's as easy as you like. And I think Destroyed coming in at number 9 is fair. I think considering Energy's year, they really came into the conversation during the latter part of the year. He started performing well alongside his brother and alongside Panda, Panda Wipeout, as well as Flexi in that roster. And I think it will be interesting to see where Energy come up in 2021, considering this roster being ATK, obviously with the minus Doru plus Mango, leaving over towards North America. And as I said, it is going to be extremely interesting to see how the players that do the dirty work, quote unquote, perform overseas, like Blaze, and I assume Mango is going to be the other one who's going to fulfill the role of Doru, where they're going to be making space for their teammates. They're going to be allowing the life of the other 3 extremely hard hitters to be doing the hard work. So in this team, I mean in this round rather, we got Blaze again. He's just making space outside for this late A pinch to come in. Fady's going to get a free kill with a Mac-10 and allow himself to upgrade to the AWP, and now everything's going well. 5-0 up. Blaze he had a relatively slow start to this game. He got a couple double frags, a couple multi frags rather, but I think later on in the half we're going to see it's just his aim is fantastic, and I think that's exactly what you need from an entry frag. I think if you think about good entry fraggers in the world, like Grim, I think is one that comes into mind. I think obviously the entry fragging aim has to be on point, and Blaze has definitely got that. Unfortunately, he's probably sprayed a bit too many bullets into the wall, and they're going to push him in lobby with the lobby crunch, and I think this is actually the first round Goliath win. I don't think Doru wins this round, unfortunately. Let's see. Okay, gets one. Nah, doesn't win. So, unfortunately, it's just the way they crumble cookies sometimes. But yeah, I think definitely when ATK are able to go overseas, we'll see a different Blaze, because I think the whole standard of the ATK roster is gonna phenomenally increase, and I think the whole performance of the team is going to increase. I think even though maybe they'll have a rough start as anyone would expect, obviously moving overseas, moving over to North America, they'll be coming up against more stiff opposition. But I think that the whole standard of the whole team is going to increase after time with that experience gained, because we have Mistim who's played overseas, but Fady who's had the longest period. So Blaze now in a 1v5. I'm just going to hold my thoughts. One onto Elusive. Very nice, very nice. Ooh. Nice shot into Daro. I like it a lot. But I think that when ATK choose to move overseas, and when they do so, I think, as I said, the whole level of the whole level of the whole roster is going to start to increase. And I think, as I said, they're gonna start off rough, like as anyone would expect. They're gonna start off not getting the results they want, but you know, like, that will come with time as players increase with experience. I mean, Fady's the only one who's had an extended stay overseas. Mango being an extremely young player in the roster. Oh, he's so blind, so white, and he's still able to get the frag onto Elusive. Oof. Try to push ADM, but he makes things easy. I respect that. But I think over time we'll start to see that Blaze, with the nuances of North American Counter-Strike, we'll see how he adapts and how the whole team adapts. Because, as I said, Fady has been the only one with prolonged experience in North America and overseas in general. So I think it will take time for the whole roster to really settle in. And I think, as I was saying prior, when you think about ATK, you think about the heavy hitters of Fady, Mistim, and Who am I forgetting? Fady missed him. And Slowy, of course. Like, I was thinking, what? Fady missed him and Slowy. Think about those three, but I think that when Blaze and Dora are feeling it, and especially Blaze, I think that they can become extremely more scary and more potent than they already are. Which speaks volumes about the impact and performance that these players have in the server and amongst the team. Dora actually gets a really nice double frag here, which this was a 2v4, and it was the aforementioned Dora and Blaze that I was talking about, and Blaze gets the last, and a massive pull there from Dora, and Blaze gets the last frag, and they win out another round as easy as you like for ATK. And as I said, this was the upper bracket final of the eSport EGL 1, where this is the new Goliath roster. They recently just acquired Dweezil and Elusive into it, and they found themselves in the upper bracket final, and Goliath actually went on to go to the grand final, which was a very respectable performance for them, considering that they were on a relatively new roster at the time. But even then, ATK just showed their presence. This roster's been together for a relatively long time, since the start of about 2020. Came together as a full roster, and they really showed, they had an era in the South African scene, to say the least. I'm not going to use that word loosely at all. They really did. They really showed the rest of the South African scene that they were the serious ones. They were really the ones who were stamping their authority in the number one spot in the South African scene. And as Matt says it, as Hayes says it, it's easy to get number one, but it's hard to stay there. And I think this ATK team, as a full five with Doru, that is, in South Africa, that they really showed, they really stamped the authority as the best team in South Africa. And I think that it is going to be extremely exciting to see this team go overseas. Like, I just started getting extremely invested into Counter-Strike when I saw the Bravado team go overseas, and I think that's definitely something we've got to talk about, is the Bravado team overseas. Now, they performed. Obviously, again, they didn't start with the performances they wanted, but eventually they started to settle in, they started to get some results, and now JT and Sonic are in the positions they are today. And I think that's absolutely phenomenal that South Africans we're seeing over abroad, and we have the players in our little bubble that are actually getting the opportunity to play overseas. And I got to give massive props to ATK, the whole organization, and the positions that they are allowing the players to put themselves into. And ultimately, their venture overseas is going to be whatever they make it. You know, if they put in the work, if they put in the hard graft, the hard hours, 9 to 10 hours a day, then they'll be able to get the results they want with due time. And I think it is definitely going to be interesting. So again, Blaze, he already fell from this angle earlier, but he gets one, gets two, you know, as easy as you like. 5 players stay alive, the anti-eco is nice and plain and simple and easy. I actually want to know what sensitivity Blaze plays on, low-key. Seems very flicky. Maybe he's just feeling it, you know? You know, when a player's just feeling it, you get into a flow state. Reminds me of JR Nasty, you know? He used to just flick around everywhere when he felt it, and it looked like his sensitivity was super high, but it really wasn't. It was just normal, if you will. But yeah, I think Blaze, he has really nice frag videos, I'll be honest. Really good song choices in them as well. Gotta recommend, you know. It's for the people at the end of the day. It's honest work, it's for the people. Gotta respect it. Because he does it for us, you know. He releases the content for us, and I think we'll all enjoy it. And hopefully he gets some clips overseas so we can still see them on his frag videos. That would be pretty sick. Slowy's gonna get one to Elusive. Oh, I actually see the door open. Oh, it's another 2v4. Dora and Blaze once more. Double push decon. Okay, I like it. They know they can't really plant the bomb. This player in decon is really causing them problems. I mean, he gets the trade, but unfortunately gets traded out by Dweezil. I think in that situation, it's the 2v4. You know there's a player in decon. You know there's probably a fast flank ramp. They have control of double. Or they could have control of double. I think in that situation, a 2v4, you gotta make a play. Try to get a frag without a trade, hopefully. Make it a 2v3, make it a bit more doable. And see how the round plays out after that. But in that case, they get taken out by Dweezil, and Dweezil actually takes out Mistim in this round. But I think one thing to notice from Blaze when you do watch demos of entry fraggers is the ability that you're not gonna nice frag onto Zip Zip there. You're not gonna pry too long on just getting the frag. It's more just making space for the team. You're not gonna worry too much about seeing a person and rushing them down and making sure you get the frag. The whole point of being an entry fragger is just making space, as I've said. Even though you may see a player, you'll calm where he is, and that's usually the second or third players running into the site. More often the third player. That's his job really, to overwatch the entry fraggers and see where and trade out the frags, because Blaze in this scenario, it's going to be Slowy is going to be the entry fragger and Blaze is going to be cleaning things up behind him. And a nice double frag. We're just seeing the aim of Blaze just really just come to fruition. And I think as an entry fragger, your main goal is to create space. It's not really to put frags on the board. If you create space for your teammates and make it easy for them, then you're going to win the round. And at the end of the day, it's not individual performances that really matter at the end of the day. It matters that you get the 16 rounds on the board. Dweezil actually, it's a really nice shot there, but missed him, actually wins out the shot, I think. Yeah. But it's actually the fact that the team's able to get 16 rounds on the board at the end of the day, and that's all that matters. You know, no one really. If someone drops 40 frags, cool. But if you lose the game and you drop 40 frags, then yes, you might still be the best player in the world, aka Simple. But the fact is that you're not having the best time being in a team environment. You're not getting the tournament wins that are all important. And I think he actually misses the jump there, but it actually works out because he's still able to get ADM. You know what I need when Blaze sees this, because I know he will. He needs to release more content on YouTube. It's been too long since we've seen the last frag video. Step up the game, Josh. Step up the game. You know, just be better. Release more content for the people. For the people. 3v3. Fady and Zip Zip just traded out. Oof, nice shots onto Zip Zip. 2v2 now. Slowy and Blaze. Spots one over towards Hull. I like it. I like it. And I think Blaze's aim is just something like you can't discount, because it doesn't matter how poor the performance may seem for any player ever. It doesn't matter if he goes double negative and he creates the space for his team. You know that when he's in these 2vx or 3vx scenarios, that his aim can just prevail in. You're gonna see that's a 17-8 half for Blaze, and I mean that's as easy as you like. That's from the side of ATK, and we're seeing Blaze. He's gonna come to fruition, and I think he especially had a good performance towards the latter end of 2020, where he had a good series against Energy, and I think we're definitely going to see that more often when he's able to be put into those good positions, and when the whole standard of ATK, as I said, lifts an extra level, and we're going to see Blaze put up numbers where we're going to be extremely scary of and extremely proud of as South Africans when we see ATK move overseas, and we're going to see all the boys start putting up numbers. And I think Blaze is definitely one to keep an eye on, where yes, he's running into sites first or second, and he's not going to be having the best performance all the time, but when he is on one, when he does start hitting his shots, he's definitely going to be scary. And as I said, I think he can definitely be the star player on pretty much any team, and I think he's definitely going to be an exciting prospect overseas. He's still young, and I think ATK and Blaze, I think they definitely want to look out for. But yeah, guys, that's it for spot number 8. Blaze, aka Josh Saunders, aka the Frag movie prodigy god, if you will. And I think it's definitely going to be an exciting ride for Blaze and ATK overseas. So guys, this was number 8. As I said, tune in tomorrow for number 7. Let me know what you think about my positioning of Blaze down in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know when I upload next. And stay tuned for the rest of the series as I'm ranking the top 10 players in South Africa. We've got Dweezil in number 10, Destroyed in number 9, and we've got Blaze coming in fast behind in number 8 position. Guys, I'll catch you on the flip.